think the next question I have for you is a simple one, but probably the most important one. And that would be, what can and what should the United States do to stop Iran from stopping to fund terror groups?
Yeah, the first thing we need to do is try to stop having two different policies that contradict ourselves when it comes to Iran. I think the White House right now is being challenged on these assumptions that they've held that they can at one point offer Iran cash to try to keep them from advancing their nuclear program, the secret nuclear deal that we learned about over the summer that was happening, that's $6 billion for five American hostages, things like that of trying to make nice with the regime, hoping that it will improve its behavior, and at the same time saying, this is a horrible, evil act that's just been committed by Hamas, and we're going to get tough on Hamas here. Hamas is the subsidiary. Iran is the parent company. And so what we have to do is unify the policy. Yes, go after Hamas. Yes, support Israel in going after Hamas, but also look at the broader tentacles and the broader octopus that is the Islamic Republic of Iran. The head sits in the capital of Tehran. And so what we should do is look at all the different valves of cash and revenue that we have opened up under some of the policies of the last couple of years, bank accounts that have been unfrozen, oil transfers on tankers going to China, petrochemical sales. There's a UN Security Council resolution. We can bring back into force all sorts of UN sanctions as well to add international pressure. These are the kinds of things that we should be talking about, not trying to continue to hold on one hand the offer of some sort of a nuclear deal, at the other hand talking about cracking down on terrorism sponsorship. You can't do both.
You're saying making nice doesn't work, but I'm curious as to what you think about sanctions, because the Atlantic Council wrote this. Despite being heavily sanctioned, Tehran has continued to provide more than $700 million annually to support terrorist groups, including Lebanese Hezbollah, and up to $100 million annually to Hamas and other Palestinian terrorist groups. What type of sanctions do you think would work here then?
Yeah, twofold. And if you go back to the thesis in the maximum pressure campaign, it really starts with a basic question that I think once you ask it out loud, it becomes obvious what the answer should be and what the policy should be. Are we better off with Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, trying to pursue nuclear weapons and long-range missiles to attack the United States, plotting to assassinate former U.S. officials and the lot? Are we better off with that country having more money or less money? Obviously, the answer is we're better off if they have less money, fewer resources to have to choose between of when they're going to make a payment to Hezbollah or to Hamas or to build a missile or to do nefarious things, while at the same time having to still run a country with most people in the population hating their guts and hoping to see them brought down one day. And so we did see during the era of maximum pressure a lot of pressure come to bear on the proxies as well. The idea that you didn't see budget downturns for terrorists is not true. We saw reports out of Lebanon that Hezbollah was basically passing the plate among the community because they were falling on some hard times with cash shortages coming from Tehran at certain points. And you flip that coin around. We've seen reports that since the Biden administration was opening up all the spigots of cash under the nuclear deal that they're in, that the support to Hamas potentially went up this year from $100 million to some reports saying $350 million. So it stands to reason, it is logical, that if you deny resources to this regime, if you try to create economic and financial pressure on this regime, destabilize this regime from inside itself, you are better off as a country because Iran is not emboldened at that point. They're not on the offense at that point. They're on defense. They're back on their heels. And with a really ideologically radical regime that hates us so much, that is at war with us every day, you want that country on its heels, not on its front foot.